Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Hello everyone, and Miss Riani. We are from tax-based instruction group. Before we present our materials, let me introduce myself. My name's Aulia, and my teams are Christy, Alvan, and Adivi. Okay. The first material is presented by Alvan. Please, Alvan, time is yours.
Okay. Hello guys. So I would like to tell you. So number one is it is something that learners do or carry out using their existing language resource. Number two is it has an outcome which is not simply to learning language, though language acquisition may occur as the learner carries out the text. Number three, it involves a focus on meaning. Number four, in this case of text involving two or more learners, it calls upon the learners' use of communication strategies and interactional skills. So the next presentation will be told by Ahdi.
Okay, guys. Text-based instruction has some characteristics. There are one, language is primary for a means of making meaning. In common with other realization of communicative language teaching, TBI emphasizes a central role of meaning in language use. The assessment of the text is in terms of outcome, and that text-based instruction is not concerned with language display. Number two is multiple models of language inform TBI. Advocates of TBI draw on structural, functional, and instructional models of language. Number three, lexical units are central in language use and language learning. Here, vocabulary is used to include the consideration of lexical phrases, sentence terms, and prefabricated routines. And not only words as significant units of linguistic lexical analysis and language pedagogy. And the last is conversation. Conversation is central focus of language and keystone of language acquisition. Speaking and trying to communicate with others through spoken language, drawing on the learner's available linguistics and communicative resource is considered by the basis for second language acquisition in TBI. Okay, the next presentation will be discussed by Mbak Aul.
Okay, I will present about the design of text-based instruction. The first objective, text-based language teaching, also known as text-based instruction, focuses on the use of authentic language and on asking students to do meaningful tasks using the target language. Text-based learning offers an alternative for language teachers. In a text-based lesson, the teacher does not predetermine what language will be studied. The lesson is based around the completion of a central text, and the language studied is determined by what happens as the students complete it. The second, tasks are usually bigger in their ultimate ends than techniques. Task-based instruction is not a new method. Rather, it puts tasks at the center of one's methodological focus. A task is really a special form of technique. In some cases, task and technique are role-play task technique, for example. But in other cases, a task may be comprised of several techniques. For example, a problem-solving task that includes, let's say, grammatical explanation, teacher-initiated questions, and a specific turn-taking procedure. Okay, the next is types of learning activities. Research on task-based learning has attempted to identify types of tasks that enhance learning, such as open-ended, structured, teacher-fronted, small group, and pair work. To define task-specific learner factors, for example, roles, proficiency, levels, and styles. And to examine the teacher roles and the other variables that contribute to successful achievement of objectives. And teaching material. The type of teaching material used for task-based instruction is exposure to language. Text in a general sense to mean a continuous piece of spoken or written language. The texts themselves will increase learners' exposure to the target language in use. Text-based tasks require learners to process the text for meaning in order to achieve the goals of the task. And then the text themselves, this will involve reading, listening, or viewing with some kind of communicative purpose and may well involve talking about the text and perhaps writing notes. And text in this sense will include recordings of spoken language and extracts from video in addition to the printed word. There may be suitable text or recordings in our course materials, or we may need to supplement this by choosing extracts from other sources. Okay, the teacher roles. The teacher is generally a facilitator, always keeping the key conditions for learning in mind. The teacher, at the second, the teacher is involved in setting tasks up, ensuring that learners understand and get on with them, drawing them to a close. The third, the part of the teacher plays during each component of the task framework also varies according to its aim. And the last, the teacher is also the course guide, explaining to learners the overall objectives of the course and how the components, the task framework can achieve this. And in addition, most of the emphasis is on learners doing things, often in pairs or groups, using language to achieve the task outcomes and guided by the teacher. Okay, the learners roles. Learners can learn strategies to cope with limits in their knowledge of English, describing an object when you do not know its name, making predictions, and using headings to better understand a text. Learners' main focus is on meaning from grammatical correctness matters to the extent that it enables or interferes with communication. And the fourth, learners learn through problem solving, not by receiving information, constructivism. Learners must recall and use language they have already learned. in order to accomplish the task. However, they are not limited to or required to use a specific form. And in addition, language learning is driven by need. Students learn something because they need to use it. And students should learn in the classroom in the same way that they learn outside the classroom. And students learn by performing tasks, activities with merit beyond linguistic practice. And okay, the next presentation will be presented by Christy.
Next is text-based instruction. The first task, introduction to topic and text. Teacher explores the topic with the class, highlights useful words and phrases, helps students understand text instruction and prepare. Students might hear a recording of others doing a similar task. Exposure to real language. Tape recording of native speakers completing the same task. Use of text and activities upon those tasks. The pre-text please introduce the class to the topic and the class. Activating topic-related word and phrases. Make sure learners know why they are doing them and how they will help them with the main task. Second, task cycle. Tasks. Students do the tasks in pair or small groups. Teacher monitors and encourages finish. Briefly on content. Planning. Students prepare to report to the whole class, orally or in writing. How the tasks, what they decided or discovered. Teacher acts as linguistic advisor, giving feedback, helping students to correct, rephrase, rehearse, and or draft a written report. Next. Report. Some groups present their report to the class or exchange written reports and compare results. Teachers select some groups to present their report of the text to the class, orally or in writing. Teacher acts as third person, thinking the contributions on confirm it wisely. And the last, language focus. Next. Analysis. Students examine and discuss specific features of the text or transcription. This does with recommended during in data. After the analysis, the law have already worked with the language and process it for meaning. So they are ready to focus on the specific language from the meaning. Okay, I think enough to about procedure.
Okay, from the presentation we can conclude that text-based instruction is more a matter of perceptive and sensitive management of the learning environment. It involves examining existing beliefs and trying to look at learning and teaching in a realistic light. It entails coming to terms with the principles that underpin the components in a text-based instruction. framework and using them to create the right conditions for language learning. This in turn entails seeing the lesson outline as a framework which accommodates sustained learners activity. In fact, for the teacher who has just introduced and set up a task-based cycle for the first time, the biggest challenge of all is possessing the strength of mind to stand back with confidence and to let learners get on with their own learning. Okay, and the last, the tasks can be part of the learning experience complementary to other language input and activities. Students focus on on a real life rather than a linguistic objective. Linguistic objectives can be developed through sport activities, tasks, design, and feedback. Task is an activity in which meaning is primary. There is some communication problem to solve. There is some sort of relationship to comparable real-world activities. Task completion has some priority and the assessment of the task is in terms of outcome. Okay, this is the reference for us to present about task-based instruction, and we can get some insights about TBI from the references. Okay. Oh, wait. Before we finish our presentation, we present the video. The video is the example of task-based instruction. And the video tells us about teaching, speaking with task-based instruction. Okay. Okay. This is the video about teaching speaking with task-based learning. Please watch this video and you can learn some things from the video. Okay, happy watching. Let's get some points from video.
A great way to practice conversation skills is to have students collaborate to solve a problem or complete an assigned task. Today, I'll show you one of my favorite task-based activities in which students have to work together to create a utopian society. In task-based learning, students have to complete a task either individually or in groups. Today, my students will be in groups, so we would call this consensus building. They're going to work together to design their own ideal societies. I'll begin by eliciting some social problems in the US and the students' home countries and write them on the board. This will get them thinking about things in society they would like to change and prepare them for the task ahead. I downloaded a blank map from the internet, and I'm going to tell my students that they have an uninhabited island on which they can create their own perfect country. They have to decide where they will build things such as the airport, school, bank, etc., and draw them on the map. I've also prepared a list of things they should decide while they work, such as the name of the country, what laws they have, how people dress, customs, holidays, etc. I want to encourage as much detail as possible. When they're finished, I'll have each group make a short presentation on their utopia to the class. Then we'll discuss whose utopian society would work best. Throughout the activity, I'll be listening carefully and making note of some of the mistakes my students make, then address them at the end of class. So, is the United States of America a good country to live in? Nancy, what do you think?
Yes, I think so. Compared to Mexico, it's kind of quiet.
It's quiet. Okay, very good. And Abdul, what do you think?
Sometimes I hear about crimes.
Crime, very good. Okay, so all countries have social problems, right? Crime is one of them. Very good. What are some other social problems?
Poverty.
Poverty. Yeah, poverty. Very good. Teenage pregnancy. Okay, definitely, that's going on. And I'm sorry, who said the other answer?
Delinquency.
Delinquency. Okay. Delinquency is kind of similar to crime. Pollution. Big problem right now, right? Very good. Okay. So Anna, tell me, you are from what country? Chile. Chile. In Chile, do you have any of these types of problems? All of them. Any other problems that's specific?
All the world is the same.
Very good.
That are the principal problems.
Okay, great. Well, every country obviously has social problems. But today, what we are going to do is we are going to have the opportunity to create our perfect society. And what do you think that is called? You had a perfect country, perfect place.
A magic world.
A magic world, very good. Fantasy. If there were a perfect place, a dream world, this would actually be called utopia. You guys heard that? So what we are going to do is we're going to go and split up into groups, and you guys are going to create your own utopia, your own island. Okay. You will also have a worksheet that will give you some examples of what you can put in your utopia. For example, what is going to be the name of your country? What are going to be 5 laws, regulations that you will have in your country? Okay, so here's the worksheet. You also have to draw, I know, creativity. Things like banks, hotels, beaches. It's going to be fun, right? So use your creative juices to think of your perfect world. Okay, so Wei Chong and Abdul, I'm going to give you one group. Berto and Anna. We're going to do that. Money? Does money make you happy? Yeah. Very good. Yeah. The capital? What do you think? The forest. Okay. Okay, great. Nice and easy. Yeah, good. What about, you already have the 1 week, right? 1 week. Yes, right. Oh, they have a carnival in the summer. Oh, okay. Okay. What about, okay guys, are we ready? Yes. Excellent. Okay, so now what we are going to do is each group is going to come up and present their own utopia, their perfect society.
This is our perfect society. The name of the island is Paradise.
Our country name is Kingdom of Dreams Island.
The name of our city is Happy Land.
Only the transportation is vehicle, no motor.
No motor.
No
So
motor.
do they have
Only
cars?
bicycle, walking, or the other transportation, no motor.
5,000 people live in this island.
5,000. Yeah, only 5,000. Wow, very limited.
We have the perfect weather. Always no cold, no too hot.
Does it rain or only sunny?
No, just sunny.
Oh.
All the people speak only Spanish. Only
No government leaders. Oh, nice. You need to rotate. There's no front. Okay. Excellent. I think my students were really creative with this idea, and it got a lot of conversation, even learned some new vocabulary. Task-based learning not only strengthens general speaking skills, but can also be adapted to specific language points, such as phrases or verb tenses. For example, you could give students a murder mystery to solve, so they have to use past tense to deduce what happened. There are many task-based activities online, but you can easily design your own. Don't forget to provide students with some guidelines beforehand so that there is a structure to the activity and it doesn't turn into a free-for-all.
Want more videos like this one? For over
Okay, this is we have watched the video about teaching speaking with task-based learning. We hope you as we hope you are as audience for our video can get some points and understand about our explanation about task-based instruction. Okay, before anything feedback from Adivi, Kristiani, or Alvan, you guys any addition explanation about task-based instruction before we close our presentation?
No,
Okay,
I
Alvan.
think enough.
Okay, Alvan. Anything? Any addition about the about task-based instruction? No.
No, I think
Okay, Christy. Any explanation or any addition about task-based instruction before we close our presentation?
No, I think enough.
Okay. Okay. Please. Okay. And for question and answer, please give your question to Google Classroom. You can write on Google Classroom, and inshallah we will answer your questions related to task-based instruction. Okay, we think our presentation is enough. Thanks for watching this video and thanks for listening to our presentation. And see you for the next hour presentation. Okay, see you guys.
See you.
you.